In the rolling countryside of Adams, surrounded by dark woods, winding rivers, and endless silence, there stands a place that many Americans still refuse to visit alone after sunset. A place where grown men claimed they heard invisible voices whispering through the night. A place where a young girl was beaten by unseen hands. A place where even future U.S. President Andrew Jackson reportedly fled in fear. This is the story of the Bell Witch haunting. And depending on who you ask, it is either America's greatest ghost story, or proof that something evil once walked the Tennessee frontier.
It all began in the year 1817. Back then, Tennessee was still rugged frontier land. Thick forests covered the hills, roads were little more than dirt trails, and after sunset, darkness swallowed everything. Living near the Red River was a respected farmer named John Bell Sr. He lived with his wife Lucy and their children on a peaceful farm near what is now Adams, Tennessee. By all accounts, the Bell family was hardworking, religious, and well-liked in the community. But one evening, John Bell noticed something strange in his cornfield. At first, he thought it was a dog, then maybe a wolf. But as he stared closer, he realized the creature didn't look normal at all. It had the body of a dog, but the head of a rabbit. The animal stood motionless, staring directly at him from the edge of the field. John raised his gun and fired. The creature vanished instantly into the darkness. That should have been the end of it. But according to local accounts, that was only the beginning. A few nights later, the Bell family began hearing noises inside their cabin. At first it sounded harmless. Scratching on the walls, knocking on the doors, chains dragging across the floor. Then came the pounding. Every night, louder than before. The children woke up terrified as the sounds echoed through the house. John Bell searched outside with lanterns and rifles, expecting to find an animal or trespasser. But there was never anything there. No footprints, no broken branches, no explanation. Soon, the haunting became physical. The Bell children claimed invisible hands pulled at their blankets while they slept. They felt sharp pinches on their skin. Some said their hair was yanked violently in the middle of the night, and one child suffered more than anyone else. John Bell's youngest daughter, Betsy Bell. According to the legend, Betsy became the main target of the entity haunting the farm. She would wake up screaming as unseen forces slapped her, scratched her, and pulled her from bed. Sometimes the family found bruises and red handprints covering her body. Neighbors who stayed overnight claimed they heard the attacks happening in the darkness. But no one ever saw who, or what, was responsible. At first, the Bell family tried to keep the event secret. In the early 1800s, stories about witches and spirits could destroy a family's reputation. But the haunting became impossible to hide. Visitors began arriving from nearby towns, hoping to witness the strange events for themselves. And many claimed they did. People reported hearing whispers float through empty rooms. Others claimed an invisible force spoke directly to them. Then, the entity began talking openly, not in growls, not in screams, but in a human voice. Clear, intelligent, mocking. The spirit could reportedly quote Bible verses, sing hymns, and carry on conversations with visitors for hours. Sometimes it sounded like an old woman. Other times it mimicked voices perfectly. Eventually, the entity revealed a name. Kate. From that moment on, the spirit became known as the Bell Witch. One of the most common theories claimed the spirit was connected to a local woman named Kate Batts. Kate Batts was a neighbor of the Bell family, and according to folklore, she believed John Bell had cheated her in a land deal. Before her death, rumors spread that she swore revenge against him. Soon, locals became convinced her spirit had returned to torment the Bells. Whether that was true or not, no one could prove. But the entity itself reportedly claimed to be old Kate Batts' witch. and that terrified the community. The haunting continued for years, and strangely, the Bell Witch did not attack everyone equally. It seemed to despise John Bell. Witnesses claimed the spirit followed him constantly. He began suffering mysterious illnesses. His face twitched uncontrollably. His throat would swell shut without warning. Some nights, he could barely speak. The entity mocked him openly. It reportedly cursed him while he lay helpless in bed. Then, in 1820, things turned deadly. One morning, John Bell was discovered unconscious and barely breathing. Near his bed sat a small vial filled with a dark liquid no one recognized. According to legend, when the family asked who placed it there, the Bell Witch answered, "I gave old Jack a big dose of it last night." To test the liquid, the family supposedly fed some to a cat. The animal died almost immediately. Shortly afterward, John Bell himself died. And according to local folklore, the Bell Witch began laughing and singing during his funeral. But perhaps the most famous part of the Bell Witch story involves a man who would later become President of the United States, General Andrew Jackson. According to the legend, Jackson heard stories about the haunting and decided to investigate personally. Skeptical and fearless, he traveled to the Bell farm with several companions. As the group approached the property, something bizarre allegedly happened. Their wagon suddenly stopped moving. The horses strained. The wheels would not budge. Jackson's men pushed with all their strength, but it was as if the wagon had become stuck in solid rock. Then, from the nearby woods, a voice spoke. "All right, General, let the wagon move on. I will see you tonight." Moments later, the wagon moved freely again. That night, Jackson and his men reportedly experienced terrifying phenomena inside the Bell home. Some claimed invisible forces slapped and choked them while they slept. One version of the story says a skeptical member of Jackson's group bragged he could handle any witch. Moments later, he was allegedly beaten by unseen forces and thrown across the room. By sunrise, Jackson and his men had enough. As they left the property, Jackson reportedly declared, "I had rather fight the British than deal with the Bell Witch." Whether the quote is historically verified remains debated, but the story became legendary across the American South. What makes the Bell Witch story so different from other ghost stories is the sheer number of witnesses connected to it. This was not just a single family claiming to see ghosts. Neighbors, travelers, ministers, teachers, and local officials reportedly visited the Bell farm and claimed to experience strange events themselves. Over time, the case spread across Tennessee and beyond. Newspapers, books, and oral histories kept the legend alive for generations. Some historians consider it one of the earliest and most documented paranormal cases in American history. But not everyone believes the haunting was supernatural. Skeptics have offered many explanations over the years. Some believe the Bell children exaggerated stories that spiraled out of control. Others think neighbors used tricks and ventriloquism to frighten the family. One theory suggests teacher Richard Powell secretly manipulated events because he was obsessed with Betsy Bell and wanted to break up her engagement. And strangely enough, Betsy eventually did end her engagement to a young man named Joshua Gardner. After the breakup, the violent attacks reportedly slowed down. Yet the legend refused to die. Long after the Bell family was gone, locals claimed the spirits still haunted the area, especially one place, a cave near the old Bell property. Today, that location is known as Bell Witch Cave. The cave stretches deep into limestone earth near the Red River, and according to local legend, the Bell Witch fled there after tormenting the family. Visitors over the years have reported hearing whispers, seeing shadows, and feeling unseen hands touching them in the darkness. One famous story tells of a boy who became trapped inside the cave. Panic spread as adults struggled to pull him free. Then suddenly, a mysterious voice echoed from the darkness. "I'll get him out." Moments later, the boy was freed. Today, the Bell Witch legend remains one of America's most famous paranormal stories. The Old Bell property has become a tourist attraction, drawing ghost hunters, historians, skeptics, and thrill seekers from all over the United States. Many visitors still claim they experience strange phenomena there. Cold spots, disembodied voices, shadow figures. Some say the cave feels normal during the day, but terrifying after dark. And maybe that's why the story continues to survive after more than 200 years. Because no matter how modern the world becomes, people are still afraid of the dark, still afraid of unexplained voices, still afraid that somewhere, deep in the Tennessee woods, something unseen may still be waiting. Maybe the Bell Witch was only a legend. Maybe it was mass hysteria. Or maybe something truly evil visited the Bell family farm in 1817 and never really left. If you ever travel through the quiet backroads of Tennessee and hear someone mention the Bell Witch, you'll notice something strange. Even people who laugh at the story during daylight often lower their voices after sunset.